You are watching Channel Y, a South Asian Canadian channel.
Hello everyone, welcome to Y Media Group. I am your host Shelley Saini and I am joined by Conservative leader Pierre Poilivere. Welcome, Minister.
It's excellent to be with you, Shelley. Thank you very much for having me.
We will be discussing a range of topics with you, Minister, but I want to begin with your comments on the federal budget. What are your thoughts on the budget?
Well, it means more inflation, more debt, and more taxes from Justin Trudeau and the costly coalition. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, he's doubled the national debt. He's added more debt than all previous prime ministers combined. And all of that debt is bidding up the cost of the goods we buy and the interest we pay. No wonder inflation is at a 40-year high. 1 in 5 Canadians are skipping meals because they can't afford groceries. 9 in 10 young people say they'll never be able to afford a home because the cost of a mortgage, rent, and a down payment have all doubled under Trudeau. Enough. We have to rein in the cost of government to bring down the cost of living. That's why my purpose is to bring home powerful paychecks, bring home lower costs, and bring homes that our hardworking youth can afford.
A lot of what is happening right now can be blamed to COVID-19. The 2 to 3 years of pandemic brought the economy to a standstill point, not just in Canada, but across the world. But coming back to the budget, because the point of COVID-19 was mentioned by the government as well, but deficit is a big concern for many people. And when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was asked when the government seems to be balancing the books, he said that as of now, he's only focused on helping Canadians. What do you have to say on that?
Well, he's like a firefighter trying to put out the flames by spraying gasoline on them. The reason we have inflation is because he's running these massive deficits. More dollars buying the same number of goods and services increases the price. If you have 10 loaves of bread and $10, it's $1 for each loaf. But if you double the amount of money to $20, but you still have 10 loaves of bread, all of a sudden it's $2 for each loaf. And that's what's been happening in our economy. Now, he blames the COVID for the deficit. COVID's been over for a year and a half. And now he's launching another $60 billion of new spending measures. This is $4,200 in new spending for every family in Canada. Are you getting an extra $4,200 in your pocket from this budget? I guarantee you're not, because it's all being gobbled up by bureaucracy and waste. A Poilivere government will bring home lower costs with a common sense dollar for dollar rule. Every dollar I bring in new spending will have to be matched with $1 of savings. We're also going to get rid of the inflationary deficits and carbon taxes to lower the cost of gas, heat, and groceries. Second, I'm going to bring home powerful paychecks with lower taxes and less clawbacks so that we reward hard work again. And third, we're going to bring home more homes that workers can afford by clearing away the government gatekeepers to speed up and lower the cost of building permits so we can put roof overhead. That's the plan, the common sense plan. Let's bring it home.
So Minister Chrystia Freeland recently said that she will be able to get some money back by cutting down on the government's travel expenses. So now I want to ask this question, and this goes for all the governments. So the government that is in power, should the government not be cutting down on the expenses when it comes to the travel? How would you deal with it?
Of course it could, and it was, but under Trudeau, the travel expenses have exploded. Look at the example he set, Shelley. He went and stayed in a $6,000 a night hotel room, and he sent you the bill. You're paying for him to stay in that hotel room in London, England. Our young people who can't move out of their parents' basements because housing costs have doubled under Trudeau, they're paying on their taxes for him to stay in that hotel room. He spent $138,000 on a Jamaican vacation for him and his family and sent you the bill for that too. You can't trust Justin Trudeau to rein in travel expenses or anything else. He doubled the amount of money we're spending on consultants to $21 billion a year. These consultants charge $3,000 or $4,000 a day for work that our public servants could be doing, and they're already paid for. That's, you know, what we're spending on consultants today. We're spending $1,400 for every family in Canada. What a colossal waste of money. But that's 8 years of Justin Trudeau, a big, fat, wasteful government. A Poilivere government will be lean and tough and will deliver results for everyday hardworking Canadians.
Okay, next I want to jump onto the censorship bill. The coalition recently passed it and you stood against it. Explain it to us, what the censorship bill means and why are you against it?
That's right. So the costly coalition of the NDP and Liberals are passing C11, which would give the CRTC, a liberal woke bureaucracy, the power to manipulate social media algorithms to favor some news and some content over others. Now, they claim it's just to promote Canadian content, but they can't tell us what Canadian content is. Is this program Canadian content? We don't know because they haven't told us. I suspect it will be just those shows that are produced by powerful broadcasting corporations with influential lobbyists that will get favored. And this is what it will mean. If they promote that content in people's the YouTube streams or their newsfeed, that means they have to demote your content because there's only so much room on the screen. And what I worry about is it will be politically powerful and rich interests that will have more share of voice rather than allowing people to decide for themselves. Right now, the algorithms are set up so that people see what they want to see. The social media companies feed us things we want so that they can keep us watching. That's how they make money. So we decide with the click what to watch rather than the clique. And that's how it should be. Canadians should decide what they see and say on the internet, not government bureaucrats. Stand up for free speech, repeal the censorship. It's common sense. Let's bring it home.
Now, this has been the topic of heated debate, the appointment of a new interim ethics commissioner, which happens to be the sister-in-law of Minister LeBlanc. What do you have to say on that?
Well, so here you have the Prime Minister. He's found guilty twice of breaking the Ethics Act, once for taking a free vacation from someone to whom he gave a government grant, and another time for interfering to help a liberal-linked multinational corporation avoid criminal charges after it stole money from the poorest people in Africa, right? And then Dominic LeBlanc, his minister, he's found guilty of breaking the Ethics Act. So what do? They get together and say, how are we going to make sure we never found guilty again? I know. We'll appoint your sister-in-law as the judge or the ethics commissioner who decides guilt or innocence. How is that fair? If it's a family member, close family member, the person who sits across the Christmas dinner table from you is now going to be judging whether or not you broke the law. It's insane. Could you imagine if there was a criminal trial and the judge was the sister-in-law of the defendant? They'd have to change judges. Well, Trudeau and his minister bring in a family member to be in charge of this. This is the kind of corruption we expect in a third world country, a banana republic, not what we expect from Canada. Let's get this person out, bring in someone independent and start following the law. It's common sense. Let's bring it home.
That's a strong statement you made there, that this is something we expect to be happening in a banana republic and not in Canada. Let's move south of the border now. What's happening in the United States of America? Former President Donald Trump being indicted, facing criminal charges. What are your thoughts on that?
None of my business. My job is to fight for Canada. The Americans can solve their politics. They don't care what I have to say about their problems. And what I told President Biden when I met with him last week is this. We need an end to Buy America, which discriminates against Canadian construction workers. Canadian workers should be able to sell their constructed goods in the United States, just like Americans can sell their products here. It's good for both countries. Second, we need to lift the American tariffs on our lumber. Those tariffs have been in place ever since Trudeau took office. They harm our forestry workers, our loggers. Lift them off. It's good for our workers, but it's also good for their home building industry down in the States because they need our lumber to build their homes. Get the tariffs off. Third, get rid of the vaccine mandates at the border so that everyone can travel back and forth. Those are the major things that matter to my people. I'm not going to mess around in foreign politics in areas that are none of my business. I'm going to stay focused on our people to bring home powerful paychecks for our people, bring home a better quality of life. That's my purpose. It's common sense. Let's bring it home.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Minister, and sharing your thoughts on some of the topics that concern the Canadians. Do you have a message for our audience?
Yes, listen, I've got 5 major priorities right now. We need to bring home lower prices by getting rid of the inflationary deficits and taxes, bring home powerful paychecks, not only by cutting taxes to reward work, but by a Blue Seal standard so that immigrant professionals can get licensed as doctors and nurses within 60 days of applying. We're going to bring home homes that people can afford by getting rid of the gatekeepers to speed up building. We're going to bring home safe streets with jail, not bail, for violent offenders, by banning hard drugs, and by investing in rehabilitation and treatment and making the big pharma companies who caused the crisis pay for it. And we're going to bring home freedom by getting rid of the censorship. It's common sense. Let's bring it home.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
It's so good to be with you. We'll see you in Toronto.
You are watching Channel Y, a South Asian Canadian channel.